Welcome to Rooted In, a podcast about the conversations, the strategy, and the science behind building a salon business that grows.
For too long, hair and scalp care stopped at the surface, but Nutrafol changed that. As a leader in hair health, Nutrafol's whole body approach includes clinically tested hair growth nutraceuticals and scalp and hair care products that improve hair health from the inside out. For salon professionals, that means having the tools to give clients real, lasting results, available to carry and recommend at exclusive professional pricing. Learn more at Nutrafol.com/stylists.
I'm Johnnell Theresa Nidoh, Nutrafol's very own head of salons, and every episode I'm sitting down with the experts and the educators shaping the future of our industry. No filters, just facts, from the voices who know this world best. What's my hair story? Beauty runs deep in my roots, literally. I grew up in my mother's hair salon, where the sound of dryers and hairspray sparked my passion for the professional hair industry. From sweeping the floors to leading brand education and storytelling, I've built 20 plus years of my career across brands like Bumble, DevaCurl, and Salon Professional Distribution. Long before it became mainstream, I saw the shift towards scalp health and whole body wellness. Today, at the heart and the helm of the Salon Channel at Nutrafol, I'm passionate about shaping the future of holistic hair health and helping make inside-out beauty the new standard. Outside of work, I'm fueled by travel, connection, yoga, meditation, and a love for new experiences that keep me grounded and inspired, because less stress, the healthier the hair. In today's episode, I'm joined by Scott Buchanan, owner of Scott J Salon in New York City, and his front office and salon manager, Nicole Honl, two people who know firsthand what it takes to bring hair health into a salon and get clients to truly invest in it. Because when a client is in your chair asking why her hair doesn't feel the way it used to, the answer shouldn't stop at her shampoo. Let's get into the conversation. Scott Buchanan has been in New York City's beauty and wellness scene for over 4 decades. His journey began in 1980 as an assistant stylist in Manhasset, New York, and quickly evolved into a lifelong mission to elevate the salon experience. In 1985, Scott opened his first salon, a cozy 5-chair space on Columbus Avenue. Today, Scott J. Aveda Salons operates 2 thriving locations in Manhattan's Upper West Side and Morningside Heights, employing a talented team of over 100 professionals. Scott's work has been featured in top fashion and lifestyle publications, including Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Good Housekeeping. He has also appeared on national television programs such as The Oprah Winfrey Show, Gordon Elliott, Ricky Lake, where he not only shared his beauty experience and passion for the industry, but also performed transformative on-air makeovers that showcased his talent and his heart. As a global educator for Aveda, Scott travels throughout North America and Europe, teaching salon owners and managers how to build sustainable, service-driven businesses. He is equally committed to philanthropy. His salons partner with Sloan Kettering Hospital to provide beauty services for cancer patients, and sits on the board of Hair to Stay, which is a nonprofit expanding access to scalp cooling therapy during chemotherapy. Scott has served as a chairman of the Professional Beauty Association of America and currently leads as the president of Intercoiffeur America and Canada, the premier organization for elite salon owners and beauty professionals. Through this role, he champions Intercoiffeur's mission to connect, collaborate, and propel the beauty industry forward, while serving as a strong voice for commission and salary-based salons across the North America. With a heart for mentorship and a vision for the future, Scott continues to give back to the industry that has given him so much. He is always striving to inspire, uplift, and empower the next generation of beauty leaders. Nicole Honl has been a dedicated professional within the Aveda network since 1992. Her extensive career includes leadership roles ranging from running the Aveda Institute to managing corporate retail stores. For the past 25 years, Nicole has served as the general manager at Scott J. Aveda Lifestyle Salon, where she continues to bring her passion for the industry and the Aveda mission to life. Hello, Scott and Nicole. I want to welcome you both to our first part of Rooted In series with Nutrafol and the Tease. This is called the Consultation. How is everyone doing today, first and foremost?
Great. How are you, Johnnell? Thanks for having us.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. This is like a dream come true. I'm going to say full circle moment. Nicole, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's a nice sunny day in New York. It's getting pretty hot out there, but we're nice and cool inside.
Good. I think this conversation is going to heat up because this
Mhm.
is, like I said, this is a full circle moment for me. And I'm just going to just jump right in. Okay. So Scott, you've been a salon partner with Nutrafol from way back 2021. Actually, I had to look in my notes. So I wanted to ask you, this is like a full circle moment. You've been one of, I'm going to say, the founding salons that came on board with us. What was it about Nutrafol that made you feel that spark before the industry even took on this whole like magical phenomenon of supplements in the hair care world? So walk me through that.
I think first and foremost, it was a product I had heard about that worked, and so as a salon owner and a beauty professional,
Mhm.
my job is to go out there and give to the team and to my clients products that make a difference. And I know thinning hair is, as a hairdresser for 44 years, thinning hair is a lot of women's challenges, and you could see it in the evolution of my 44 years as a hairdresser. As more women got in the workforce and became, executives and had big jobs, their hair for women was a big thing. And of course, hair is the crown and glory of most people. And so I was very excited when I saw the brand. And originally I spoke to the founders, and we had a fantastic conversation about, just what it was. And, being I call it, hairdressers are on the front line of hair. We're on the front line, and it's really important to be knowledgeable. So that's why I gravitated right there to Nutrafol.
I love that, Scott. And it's interesting because I'm just going to bring it back. So when I came on board with the founders, I mean, it was 2019, right? And we all of us can agree, we come from the world of touching, feeling, smelling, instantaneous result, right? So now there's this nutraceutical exploding in the pro salon channel. And, I'm trying to bring up this strategy, and it's just a beautiful story that you have with us. And Scott, and we all know, like coming off of COVID, there's been so much skepticism having a nutraceutical, having an ingestible, have a retail salon space, right? So, I'll bring you in, Nicole. Like, what are your thoughts on, having a client come in, walk me through the Scott J experience. Like, how are you introducing this? Like, how are you approaching skepticism? Like, in the past 5 years, we've seen such a revolution or evolution in nutraceuticals.
I think that the client now is very well versed in knowledge in using nutraceuticals for hair growth. I feel like for the longest it was like either minoxidil or just live with it, and I think people got used to that. And I believe that like it was always like you promoted beauty from the inside and out. And a lot of times, you have to dig a little bit deeper when someone is telling you that they're experiencing hair loss and they're going through things. But like Scott said, it is probably the number one most mentioned thing that a client will bring up, whether we're talking to them about, shampoos or conditioners, or they're sitting in the stylist chair. Because they've been so well versed, the clientele, and they know, and then you guys have done an amazing job of advertisement, and they come in here, we're able to really start that conversation. And a lot of times it happens in the chair with the stylist that's known them for years, and maybe they've even noticed themselves as a hairdresser that their client is thinning out, and being able to offer them another thing that will improve the health of their hair.
No, I love that. And also, like, as you guys know, it's not a one size fits all kind of method. There's all different things that factor into the hair hiccups and all that. But I'd like to deep dive a little bit more into like what that conversation looks like behind the chair. Scott, you can hop in. Nicole, you can hop in as far as the retail aspect. But I just would love to know, once Nutrafol became like part of this conversation in the salon, how is this deepening the relationship with the clients? Like, because you guys, in my mind, are seeing everything first and foremost. You're on top of the client's hair. You're with them through their divorce. You're with them through their postpartum journey or, celebratory moments. And this is our crown. So help me understand how the conversation has shifted with someone coming in just wanting to get like, low lights or their monthly trim or whatever, and you're introducing Nutrafol into the conversation.
Well, I think it starts with just the understanding, when a guest sits down, part of the consultation is, about your hair, what you use, your maintenance, what's your lifestyle like, what your challenge is. The average head sheds 100 hairs. So 100 hairs looks like a lot at the bottom of your shower, and that's just normal shedding, seasonal shedding, so really asking the questions in that way. So sitting behind the chair, I always ask women, have you had your thyroid checked? Have you, there's just certain questions you go through each time. Have you just given birth? Are you breastfeeding? Did you just have surgery? Because all of those things are your hair health. I mean, this hair tells you the health of your body. And so when things start happening, it's about checking the internal all the way around. And I usually send people right to their doctors, and, women come back, go, how'd you know I had a thyroid problem? You know what I mean? It's like, well, I've just been doing this for 44 years. So I'm kind of a doctor by trial. So, tying in the topical scalp now is bigger than ever. Scalp care. What is your scalp health? So tying in the topical with the internal is just a natural thing. And you just bring them over. And due to Nutrafol's name recognition in the industry, it is a very easy transition. But for me, I think it really helps my hairdressers feel professional and bring professionalism to the chair, because we can really help, and they see results. And my own hairdressers are using it. And we're happy when we brought it in because they had already been heard about it and we're using it. So the conversation is a very natural one that just comes within the consultation of, hearing about the client's fears and wants and needs. And now this is the biggest tool that we have that we can bring to our guests to help with that.
So yeah, what I'm hearing is the conversation's very authentic. It's not scripted, because that's one thing I hear a lot throughout these salons. And the stylists are just this apprehension of speaking of a nutraceutical and, whole different genre of ashwagandhas, curcumin, different languages. Nicole, I'm going to kick it back to you. I would love to hear your perspective, from the front desk, and you're having a client come up and, you're talking about getting them on this Nutrafol hair journey. How is the response that, like, okay, now I'm sold? Like, what is, help me understand, like, the hesitation before they're purchasing and walking out the salon with a bottle?
I would probably say the only hesitation are just from the people that say they want to go home and do more research on the computer, like really do a deep dive. But honestly, that's very little. Most people, once they talk with one of us or talk to the stylist, they're pretty committed, because I think, especially women, they want to address it right away. And, we do have the conversation with them. It's not like an overnight thing. Obviously we have haircuts and color and products that could be an instant fix for a lot of different things. However, something like this is going to take time. So going over that and really kind of getting the commitment from the client that they know that this is not like an overnight fix. They probably maybe in the first 30 days aren't going to notice anything different. Maybe they'll start feeling better if they had some other issues or maybe undergoing stress. But I really don't see a lot of resistance. I mean, just very small amount of people want to go home and do research. Most people, the buy-in is there. And a lot of times when they talk to me, I say, have you heard of Nutrafol? I'd say 9 times out of 10, they have. It would be a surprise if someone came in and was talking to us that has not heard about Nutrafol.
That to me is the brand awareness. And that's, something, that I appreciate as a recipient of a customer of yours carrying it, that, the brand awareness to it, I can put it in my front window, even on my Upper West Side location on 72nd in Columbus. I can put it right there where I have 1 million people, and that brand recognition walks them in. And so they might come in for Nutrafol, but then they see also that we're a hair salon, and they look around, and so they might come and stay for hair. So it really becomes that true partnership that I'm always looking for with brands, so that we work off of each other at the same time. And, being that this is an internal process, they do have some, you do have shampoos and conditioners also, which some of my customers, actually my partner loves. He loves the Nutrafol because he has some thinning hair.
Like, again, to have a nutraceutical aside right by like a shampoo, a conditioner, or a styling product, that's massive. And a lot of salons don't know that they can carry Nutrafol. So Hopefully now, being that I have you on here, everyone knows who Scott J is. So this is a good promotion.
Yeah, I think it's very important because scalp, I mean, everyone in their businesses and scalp health is absolutely
Huge.
blowing up in the industry. And you know, and not only blowing up from a salon owner's perspective, but the consumer knows, the consumer's aware, the consumer's looking for. So Nutrafol is just the absolute answer to one piece of that puzzle.
I
You know,
love
because it is different puzzle pieces that create the whole. It's not all Nutrafol. It's not all a topical. It's the whole thing together with understanding that it's an internal health. And I love the simplicity of Nutrafol. I love your idea, you know, of that the simplicity of how it is. It's not that complicated to understand. You know, it's basically a couple of different categories, and it's very easy for my team, for Nicole, to train her team to really understand how to be an expert.
You rolled right into it, Scott. You just.
Let's talk about one of the easiest ways to bring Nutrafol into your salon. Nutrafol's award-winning shampoo and strengthening conditioner are available in liter-sized bottles, perfect for the back bar, and perfect for starting conversations about scalp and hair health with every single client. And with 8.1-ounce bottles available for clients to take home, they leave with everything they need for visibly improved, strong, hydrated hair between visits. Learn more at Nutrafol.com/stylists.
So, Paul, I was going to ask you, as far as retailing and as far as, you know, really training the staff, walk me through that. I'd love to hear how you can make it so simplistic, because that's the one thing, you know, stylists are behind the chair. Their craft is cutting, coloring, all that fun stuff. Retail is probably not our highest, like, wink, wink, strongest point. But I'd like to know, since you guys are such a powerhouse, what are you doing? Give us some tidbits. Give me some nuggets that we could share with everybody.
Definitely, I feel like it's important to show my team the literature, because it's spelled right out on everything. What is the proprietary blend, how it works, and how much time that you should kind of give a client when they're asking, when am I going to see results? How long is it going to take? I mean, of course, every person's a little bit different, but those are the things that people want to know. They want to know which one's for me, you know, so we discussed the two different ones or three, you know, as far as postpartum, or I'm sorry, 4 men. I can't forget the men too, because they are just as important. To be able to talk to the right age category, where they would go, what they would need, what the different products are in there. And I do think that you do a really good job of laying out in the pamphlets exactly what it is they need. They can go online to learn more further information. It just kind of fits in with everything else that we do. You know, we give the top kind of 3 bullet points of what the client is going to want to know about and go from there. And it's nice because it's like like Scott was saying, just the advertisement alone and having it in our front window, having it on our TV screens outside, you know, I'd probably say it's 50-50. It's 50% of the sales that we have are like passive sales. People know about it. They're just walking in and grabbing it. And then it's other half is actively working it, you know, through my stylist, through my front desk team, through me. I'm always hyping it up.
You're making it sound so easy. I wish I could just clone you for every call I get, every salon I walk into that gives me pushback, because let's get to the nitty gritty. There are people that, number one, complain about, I'm not taking 4 pills a day, or, you know, I took it for this long, I didn't see results. You know, how do you guys handle those objectives? Because they do happen. Not everyone.
They do happen. They do happen. I've spoke with people that said, I just can't commit to the 4 pills a day. Are you taking collagen? Like, we talk about other options. There are going to be people that have that. Do I think that that's 100% of the people you're speaking to? Absolutely not. Sometimes those are just excuses you may be getting from salon owners or stylists. That's not it. And we get it across the board, not just with Nutrafol, but with other things. You know, one person says no and that's it. Nobody else wants it. And I don't think that's true. I think that we are just offering a wide array of things that people can do to address this very concerning issue that people have, whether it's male or female. But it does seem to bother the females a lot more, you know, when that starts happening. So they're pretty serious about what they want to do, you know, to get it. You know, yes, you're going to get some no's. that's just the nature of any kind of sales that you're doing. But I think it's a no-brainer for any salon owner. It's just probably more about their conversations that they're having with their clients. And like Scott said, we do it in the consultation. So whether you're a new client or existing clients, maybe someone that's been coming to us for 10 years, my stylist is still going to ask, like, what's new? Anything new that's been going on with your hair? They're going to talk about that. I've noticed this. This is happening more. I'm shedding more hair. There are real things that people are talking to their stylists about. And even the clients walking in.
I just want to add a little something to that, Nicole. I think it was fantastic what you said. And for those women that don't want to, or the people, excuse me, that don't want to take the 4 pills, then it's not that much of an emergency to you. It's not a crisis to you. At the end of the day, if you're just worried about a little bit of hair because, you saw 102 hairs in your shower, then, do something topical and try it yourself. It's real simple. It's like, okay, so then when you're really worried, when you have 200, you'll come back, you'll take the 4 pills.
You're right. It's crisis. I think, a lot of times, our hair is our crown, right? I say that all the time, and desperate times, desperate measures. And again, it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. There's other things, factors like, what are you eating? Are you, what is your sleep? What are your hormones? Like there's so many other factors, but absolutely Nutrafol is, a perfect plug and play to get you kick started into like your hair journey. Absolutely. So this is one thing that I found very interesting with salons and stylists. Walk me through the repeat, like the clients that are coming back more frequently for their root touch-ups or more frequently for their haircuts because their hair is growing. Now that's an amazing added bonus, like an ROI for salon owners who are carrying Nutrafol. And I'm sure you guys are seeing that. Do you want to walk me through anything like how Nutrafol has bumped up your revenue in salons, seeing that you're seeing more services being booked?
Well, yeah, I can't correlate it actually to Nutrafol alone, but I do know that our guests, that have used and see results from Nutrafol are happier, are more ecstatic, are coming in more because they do need their color more. If your hair is growing, you're getting roots quicker. So that's and I just think it just adds a level of professionalism to us that people are just coming in. So they're sending more guests to us. The energy and the spirit in the relationship is just better, and of course, when your hair is growing, you want to take care of it more and you want to, nurture it. So if now I'm a little coming in for my trims a little more often because I realize I need to keep it healthy, because a lot of times women think, I want my hair to grow, so I'm not trimming it. It's not really the fact for healthy hair is to trim it more often, just like you pick back a plant.
Literally.
To make it grow thicker. Absolutely. That's what I tell my clients. It's like, you pick back a plant and it gets fuller and beefier. If you constantly do the right trimming, it will keep your hair fuller. If you don't, it gets shaggy and just like a plant.
I agree. I think a lot of times the misconception is I'm not going to touch my hair because I have the length, but then the length is just ratty. What you said, it's just like dead. Right. It's horrible. Yeah. Is there a client that comes to mind that you can honestly say touched you in such a transformation, like from the Nutrafol journey or the full story of walking into the salon, having dealt with, maybe thinner hair or shedding, whatever that looks like? Is there a client that you can like share a story of that you've watched them throughout this journey and just put a smile back on their heart and their face?
Nicole, I'll leave that to you.
I maybe not like a client that I can think of offhand. I talk to so many people every single day. But one person I can talk about is a stylist of mine. Her name is Charlie. You may have met her at some point, Johnnell. She had very fine hair, always had super fine hair. And then she had 4 kids almost back to back, like one right after another. And her hair was very fine, very thin. And she started taking it, and we actually got to see the density start moving down the shaft of her hair. You could see like it started getting dense, really dense up here, and then dense all the way down to here. And then, slowly but surely, you're cutting the hair and you're seeing the density. And now she pretty much just does maintenance on it. But I do feel like that it's been life-changing for her. It wasn't just like after the baby, she always had fine, thin hair. And now it doesn't feel like, 3 strands of hair on her head. So that's somebody personally I can say that I see, and I've known her for a very long time, that it made a huge difference in her life.
That's beautiful. Scott, do you have anything that comes to mind? I know you do. You work with so many genres of humans, and I mean, is there?
Yeah, I don't have a person off the top of my head, like Nicole said, but I just know that the people I recommend it to, they love it, and they're happy customers. And so if they're a happy customer for me, then they love me and they love Scott J. So that it's a win-win all the way around. So, if I would have gotten pushback, I don't think we get a lot of pushback. I don't think we get a lot of returns. I don't think we get a lot of people dissatisfied.
Wait, you said returns. I love this. Can you say that again? You don't get a lot of returns. I love that.
We don't get a lot of returns. We get a lot of people that, become reoccurring customers. There's services, when you can get something like that and you don't have that, that lets me know that we're right. We're right in our recommendations. We're right in our communication. We're right in our description of what it is and what the commitment is to the guest. And I think Nutrafol does a good job talking about what the commitment is up front also, so we don't get people with mixed messaging.
You're making it sound too seamless and easy. Like I knew walking into this podcast when I first was like, I'm going to have Scott and Nicole as my first guest. I mean, you're making it too easy for me. I think we're just done. No, I'm not. We're not. It's just, you're making it so easy. And it's just so refreshing to have partners like you guys who've been through the journey with us. You've been through the packaging changes and the addition of the boosters. And we've been through, the cusp of, can I bring up the C word, COVID, and then people just shifting their lifestyles. And now we're heavy into GLP-1s. Dare I bring that up?
Which is another whole
other thing.
Do you want to touch upon it really quick? Let's touch upon it, because the conversations are happening, and I have a lot of salons that have been coming forthright and saying, my client's on the shot or this and that. So do you want to share some insight on how Scott J is, like how your salon is handling this conversation and incorporating Nutrafol? That would help people?
Well, I think it's the same. It's just added one more thing to, like, thyroid was my thing for 40 years. It's the first thing when a woman said they had problems in shedding with the hair, I say, did you get your thyroid checked? It would be the first question. Now it's, are you on the shot? Are you taking any medication and shots? That's just part of the thyroid conversation. And so once it is, then you can say that, they're seeing a lot of results of people with thinning hair and muscle mass. And, I was just at a conference where a friend of mine was speaking, and she's a hair loss specialist. And she was talking about that to us, to the event about GP and those GPLs, I think they're right. That's
GLPs, whatever.
But yeah, the hair, the shot. They were talking about the shot, and so it was a very interesting thing because it's just a new term under the same umbrella, But you have to realize, your body's changing. I mean, your body health is always in your hair. If something's going on with your body, you'll see it in your hair. It'll be brittle. It won't hold the color. It'll shed more. All of those things are telltale signs that you have internal things. And that's why I love Nutrafol, because it starts with your gut, right? It's your gut or what's the other? They say it's the gut and the...
Well, I mean, you are what you eat, right? I say that all the time. It's what your environment, it's your hormone, it's everything. It's your sleep. Like I always say, what's at the end of your fork? I think everyone thinks like this is a magic pill. And, again, they want that instant gratification. And it's like, you have to really take a step back and truly take a look at, like, okay, what's my environment? How stressed out am I? What is going on in my world? What am I eating? How am I sleeping? What is my hormone? Like everything. So many factors that fall into it. But yeah, the GLP it's a hot topic. Nicole, do you have anything to add on that? I mean, just from seeing.
I think it's exactly what Scott said. It's just one of those other questions. And people are pretty straightforward and honest about it, whether they're on them or not. and because they come in kind of, I've been on the shot, like,
Right.
what can we do? So I think it's just one of those other questions in the arsenal. I mean, for us, you just are the solution to a myriad of things that they're presenting during a consultation or just walking in and asking questions. Because you're right, the whole lifestyle matters, from what your diet is and how stressed out. And it's just another talking point, I guess.
Okay, now I'm going to ask, like, I would love to know what an incredible Nutrafol week looks like at the Scott J Salon. Like, what creates momentum? Like, what creates the noise? What creates the buzz? I mean, from what I'm hearing, you guys just make it so seamless, and I really wish everyone will jump on this bandwagon. But give me some nuggets. Throw something at me. I'd love to know how you guys just make this whole story.
Well, I like the cycle. I feel like a lot of my clients are on the same cycle. So it's like, I already know when people are running out of their 30 days, because all of a sudden I'll have a full shelf and I turn around and then everything's gone. Everything's gone. And I'm like, oh, it's my normal people that are coming in here every month, their 30-day supply or their 90-day supplies out. I just love it. There's not anything really bad I can say. Like I said, it's a wonderful product.
And I don't think we don't do any big special promotions like we might do for another product within our arsenal of products, where we have to feature. We don't have to discount it. We don't have to, we might throw up an ad on social once in a blue moon, just about it. We do have it running on our TV screens, which are on the inward and outward facing of the salon, which just is about both products and services and the Scott J experience, so people get to see, the evaluated services we do and stuff. So, that goes out there. So that's a little push for the 30 seconds that it sits up there on a reel that I don't even know how many times it comes up in a day. But the beauty is, we don't really do much other than put it on the shelf and have the conversations that are organically happening. One thing leads to another. The Nutrafol is the internal piece of it, but it leads to getting your hair trimmed more often, using this shampoo and conditioner, getting a scalp treatment, having so you can put people on a journey, both from an internal perspective as well as an external service perspective. So it helps to grow your service business as much as it does your retail.
I love that. We keep talking about scalp. Let me just touch upon that really quick. So what do you think the shift in scalp, like, what was the main thing that happened this year? We were trying to push these products for scalp, and it was kind of like this weird time that no one really jumped on it. But now we're so scalp heavy. So why do you think, like, what was the shift in our industry? What made the change that everyone's looking for healthier scalp?
I can answer that. I feel a shift happen on TikTok when all these scalp massage places started popping up. The conversation started.
Like head spas. You're saying the head spas.
Head spas.
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, Johnnell, like for a long time, those were kind of the first things that started coming out, little scalp massage that you kind of do. And then where it blew up, where clients didn't really go near those products or come in for scalp treatments, is once the head spas started kicking off. And now everybody's concerned about their scalp health and what to put on my scalp at night before I go to bed. What can I do to make sure my hair follicles are open? It's just like a conversation. I do think social media had a huge influence with that.
I think Nicole's exactly right with social. But, if you think about it, I mean, I travel all over the world, and I was in Japan probably 10, maybe 15 years ago. And that whole scalp thing in Japan is huge. It's always been huge. They have an hour service that women go in once a week and get a whole treatment on their scalp and hair. And, the manufacturers and people were trying to bring it over here to the US, and it was just not clicking. You know what I mean? It was just, people were not into it. And now I think, and it was just a combination of marketing, consumer awareness, pointing out, I mean, when you think about it, your face, you wash your face and you care about your face, your scalp is only an extension of your face. Your scalp has to be healthy in order to grow. You need good toiled soil to grow a good plant. So it's just a combination of it all. And now I just think marketing wise, the consumer knowledge through social media, through all of the ways we get information, all of that stuff just inflamed the conversation. And then of course, now you've got, brands, Nutrafol and many hair brand companies is probably the fastest growing category amongst every brand out there is scalp. And so, Nutrafol is in a great position to not only, I'm sure, has their own scalp things, but has the ingredients of the internal piece to go with any brand that's out there. But we can still put Nutrafol next to it, and that's what I love. It's an add-on to what I already offer through the brands that I choose to carry for my consumers and my customers. But Nutrafol can always sit right next to it in its own unique category.
It's just a beautiful pairing for me. And I never thought in a million years when I was working through strategy and figuring out like what direction do we go in, when the founders were like, where do we go? What do we do? Who do we target? And that's why this is like full circle for me. And it's truly just an honor to have these conversations. I mean, I remember, Scott, we had a webinar like ages ago that we did, and I don't even know where it lives. I'd love to dig that up in the archive, but to now go forward 2026 and hear the success stories and just have you continuously like promote us and be our biggest partner. And it just makes my heart so happy. And like I said, there's so many salons out there that just don't even know that they can even carry Nutrafol on their shelves. And it's not even a competition. I think, salons and stylists, we want to hear from each other. I think in the world of social media, I think a lot of consumers don't, like what you just said, Nicole, like they're looking at these head spas and they're like, ooh, what is this all about? But, our stylists and our salons, like you guys are the voice out there. And, it just means
Absolutely. We are the brand ambassador of a lot of things. In movies, good restaurants also, but we are a brand ambassador when it comes to how to launch something. And the piece, that's the intimate piece, that we're in that space with you. So you confide in us about things, the stress in your life, all of those things. We get very intimate as hairdressers or spa therapists, the same thing. But, I'm talking as me behind the chair, I get very intimate with my guests, and therefore, I can be a resource, and that's part of what I do, and that's part of the magic of Scott J and the people that work with me is that we are there to serve our guests on all levels to create the beauty, because it's both inside and outside. It's not just. You have to feel good on the inside, and if you're the stress, I like to help people get some relief or two.
I understand that. I love that. And that's why, like, you just wrapped it up. I just think that was just a beautiful kind of put a bow on it and just wrap this all up. So I'm going to do a little rapid fire with Scott and Nicole and just please like throw it out there. So Nutrafol changed the salon because, just give me a word or a sentence, Scott.
It works for our guests.
Perfect.
I'm going to give you a one razzle dazzle here. What would you say to a salon owner who still believes that supplements do not belong behind a chair?
Well, besides wow, just because that's very narrow-minded, I would say, why do you think like that? Because I can't even conceive of someone saying that it doesn't belong behind the chair, because it has to do with hair, which we talk about every day, and we talk about hair. That is our job, is the hair. So I just say, wow. And why do you think that?
Well said.
Limiting. They're limiting themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That was a good one word.
I think that's
Nicole.
a good one. Y'all have some really good ones. Again, this conversation was so incredible. I wanted to thank Scott and Nicole, the two of you, for joining me and kicking off this series. It's near and dear to my heart. And I look forward to the next 5, 10, 15 years of this hair growth journey with you and your clients. I'd love to hear how people can find you or learn more about you, Scott and Nicole. Give us all the deets. What's your Instagram? What's your website? Give me all the the deets.
Okay. Well, Janelle, I just want to say that Nicole and I are grateful for Nutrafol and for you and our relationship. So thank you very much for having us on this call and always inspiring us. And of course, you can find us at scott@scottj.com on the internet. We're salons in Manhattan. And also our Instagram handle is Scott J. Aveda. So you can always find out all things about us there and come visit us. And we'd love to see everybody and, continue this conversation, because I know sometimes it's hard to have conversations. So have it with your hairdresser, because your hairdresser has the answers.
Correct.
Well said. Thank you both for being on this.
Thank you very much.
Keep growing.